CP Fastlane. Yeah, we could go to CP Fastlane, I guess. Alright, we're just doing... Oops, not CP Fast. Oh no. Wait, is it actually... Wait, did it just load CP Fast? It put me on CP Fastlane by typing CP Fast? What? That's crazy. Alright, alright, this map. Okay. I think this last is pretty bad. It's just one big box. It's just one... There's nothing like... The only positioning is this ramp, and this ramp is really weird and uninteresting. I would love to see like more options for positions and like obstacles to dodge around on, around the point. There's like a Fastlane Pro that has like a ledge or a balcony up there. I think that might be a good start, but then it starts becoming too many doorways to watch. I think some sort of forward position like up in here, something to like encourage people to try and play in these positions, I think would be nice. Like what if there was a box here so that people could like duck behind the box to fight and maybe play here. You'd probably want to rearrange where the doorway is though. Maybe eliminate this doorway and or change it so that the doorway is at this angle right here. That way you have a little bit more space in this corner to work with, and you could put some more like props or positioning here. So I'd probably remove this. I'd remove this doorway here. Double doorways tend to be really awful as well because you get juggled in two different doorways for lasts. That usually I don't like a double doorway type entrance. Maybe if it's one of the entrances, but usually it works better on a flank entrance rather than a main entrance because then like a roamer can hold it realistically. So I would probably move this door frame to be like here or here. Remove the rest of this room. So now you've created more open space, and then you can put more props and obstacles that people could play around on. So you'd create more forward positions and just more dynamics to holding this. This upper area I think is pretty terrible. I mean, what does this look like to you? I'll give you a hint. 2 syllables. Starts with a T. It's a tunnel. It's a tunnel. This is a massive fucking tunnel. Alright? And tunnels are awful, so I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like, at least in like River on Gully Wash, there's changes in elevation, so the sightline isn't just straight and direct, and you have some sort of terrain to move around on, where even though it is a long hallway, this is a flat, long hallway, and it's just terrible. So, how you could improve this would be get rid of this entire room here. Then you take advantage of this area above the lobby and this right here to cut the distance and sightline here tremendously. You could even do what Badlands does, where you have an opening here. Turn this into more of a Badlands lobby, where you can spam down on the shutters from up here. And then you have a room here. So there's a much better flow between all the rooms. There's not just this massive tunnel that you're just in and you can't rotate out of, but you can actually rotate into this room, off the balcony, or into last. And there's just a better flow. So that would work a lot better right here. And it would reduce the size of the rooms. This room would actually be reasonable if it was just a room, but because it connects to that, it feels more like a tunnel than a room. And the doorway being here would also tremendously reduce the necessary playable area, because you would never need to walk into this part of the map. So you would cut off this whole section here, which even though it might seem like a little bit, it actually would make a huge impact. This upper area, the doors are kind of small, but it's not terrible. You know, it's quick to get through at least. And there is health up there. I'd probably make the doorway slightly larger though. At least one of them. Probably this one. Okay, this little catwalk here is a little bit problematic because you can spam down on these shutters and there's literally no retaliation possible. So I don't really like that. I'd probably make them flush with the back wall, but you'd need to make sure that they were tall enough so that soldiers rocket jumping wouldn't get disrupted. So for example, right here, if I'm trying to like jump out, I don't want to be hitting my head on an awning. So when we looked at Yukon, we saw that that exit had an awning above it. The only way to make the awning not a problem is if it's high enough that you can pretty much reliably jump out from under it. So if this was flush with the back wall, you should be able to clear underneath it. You'd be moving far enough forward before you reach that height that it wouldn't collapse with you. Or collide with you. Okay. The double shutter thing, I don't really like shutters. Double shutter especially is kind of weird. I think this looks pretty cool though, with the two doorways and then like these pillars. I really like pillars, so it kind of tickles my fancy. It gives you a little bit of something to work around. So if possible, what I would do is maybe actually keep the pillars in the middle. Maybe maybe keep this part of the platform here forward, still connected to the back, but maybe push these sides of it towards the back so that above the doorways you kind of pull them in so you could still jump out. But I love the pillars. I'm just a fan of pillars. That's why well, I really like Snakewater Saw Room because there's a pillar. I really like Granary, the two pillars on second. I don't know. I think pillars are a really underused, underappreciated piece of cover, and because you can like you rotate around it, you can juke. It's just, and they look just, I don't know. They just look nice and sturdy, you know. All right. Anyways, let's see what else. This is kind of tunnel-esque. Not a big fan. But at least it does have this like elevation change, which makes it a little bit more interesting. I think that this starts sort of dragging on way too much though. Look at how many doorways there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 doorways to get through this little fucking maze here. It's not a maze really, but it's... Why? Why are there 3 rooms to accomplish this? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe 2 rooms. Get rid of this wall entirely. Turn this into 1 room. This is sort of the staging room maybe, or like the flank, and then you have to get through this one. But you don't need 3 rooms to accomplish what you could with 1 or even 2. I mean, you could potentially get rid of this wall instead. 1 wall or the other should probably go. Maybe even what you could do is eliminate this wall and then eliminate this, like this whole thing, so that this is now a 90-degree entrance. A lot of entrances that aren't exposed to the height are really good. So if I could get in out of the vision of this, where the entrance was actually that, what that would force me to do is I'd have to hold much closer in order to actually hold it. Otherwise, you'd be able to flood in like this, like you'd be able to fly in like that. So I think this whole roof should be removed, and this segment should be open. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd remove this wall, make this the exit, get rid of all of this, and then you have a 90-degree entrance, which allows you to peek more freely because you can't be spammed and juggled directly from any of the defensive positions. Alright, let's see what else. This is just too open and there's nothing here. Like, put something on the point. Anything at all, really. Could be a crate, could be, you know, a propane tank, could be a train. Like, just put something here. Put some sort of prop, some sort of cover, some sort of positioning that people fight over, you know? I think I saw a version of this where the second point was actually on stilts, and so you could walk underneath it. That would be kind of interesting too. And that would create a little bit more interest, because right now the middle is just so flat. There's no height to fight over. Nothing at all. Could be a tunnel. Build a tunnel. I don't know. Just something. This map also does have a problem with too many health packs, is one thing that I feel. Way too much health, I think, kind of makes the map less exciting, because everyone's always full health all the time. There's not as much opportunity to, like, say you bomb a medic and you hit him for 120, he almost always has some sort of medium health pack that he can access. Like, there's 3 medium health packs surrounding the second point. Pretty ridiculous in my opinion. One thing that they do well here is I actually think this is one of the most underappreciated parts of Fastlane. This open valley with this bridge. This bridge is so cool. The way it sort of creates this height over the valley. And the valley is open. This is probably the best part of the entire map, is this valley. It's nice and wide. It's sort of an open choke, while the other chokes aren't open. So this is what Warmfront does bad. Has 3 open chokes. This one is actually really good in that it has two closed chokes and 1 open choke. So this is actually perfect in terms of the nature and, like, positioning of the chokes. The problem is the transitions between them. So I would actually keep the valley pretty much as is. This is too small. It's too tunnel-esque, hallway-esque. Look at how tiny these doorways are. These doorways aren't even necessary, honestly. The only smaller doorway you'll find in the entire game is on CP Junction. And I don't even want to, like, think about that map when it comes to, like, tunnels and tiny doorways and a restrictive, unfun map. But I don't even think that this necessarily needs to exist. But if this was like a small tunnel with a more sizable doorway, and this house was opened, this would be a much better transition here. And then you have this double entrance, and then you have a fucking awning. I suffer through a tunnel, and then you're gonna put an awning above my exit so that I can't just rid myself of being anywhere near this place? You're gonna make me step out from underneath that thing? Oh no. Alright, this one, I feel like it should be a little bit bigger, but it's just 1 room. This one's not bad. It's not bad. This should also be bigger if, you know, probably. Fastlane Pro created like a new area up here. I feel like splitting one of these, probably this one, yeah, honestly, that probably should exist. You should probably split one of the doorways into 2. So you'd have the valley, you'd have the house, and then you'd have like another side that would have 2 entrances, probably a balcony and a floor entrance. However, you could maybe get away with just 1 entrance, because this map is very wide, and it's hard to rotate between this choke and this choke. What I'd probably do is get rid of this spawn here, so that it's easier to rotate between. So you could, like, just cross like this. I wonder if this could even be useful for turning into an entrance. Could look kind of cool, honestly, if there was a room, an exit there from the house that just led straight out to the point. And then you just move the spawn to be, like, back there in that corner, or you have tons of spaces. Like you could probably put the spawn here. I think this would be a pretty good spawn location. But I don't like this spawn location personally. Or you could move the spawn like, I don't know. There's a lot of space you could move the spawn to, and take advantage of this being kind of the most interesting position for putting a choke point. Okay, once you get to mid, so the valley's pretty cool. The point's kind of lame, but there's a little bit too much open space, I feel like. I think this map would be better if you could sort of compress it from the width, maybe, so that these areas, which are actually really cool, this sort of like height disparity with the platforms, with the cover, these are actually really cool platforms, but they aren't really relevant to the fight. So if you could make it so that you pushed those more towards the point, you'd probably need to get rid of pretty much this whole structure. You'd basically, the outline of the map would look more like this valley would cut straight across here. All of this would start here, and it would funnel people more so through to the point and around these flank sides without being as nearly as wide. That's probably what I would do. Damn, I want to like salvage all of these maps and just make an army of new maps, but I can't because I don't know how to make maps, and because I have so many other things that I need to do first. But yeah, that would probably make this map actually really good. But actually one of my main goals in life, in TF2 I should say, in like my TF2 bucket list, is to get a map with my name on it in the game. I'm hoping that Cardinal can be that map if Fi and I can see the map to completion. Look at the top left, something's floating. Oh, like this? These things? Yeah, it's probably because I don't have a 3D Skybox on. Let's see what happens. Yeah. You get this, like, massive, desert, abyss, wasteland thing going on. But it is basically floating. I'm not sure how they built this floating above a wasteland, but it's like a big sandbox, basically.